Peace Reflections. Before we start, if you've been feeling called to go deeper, I'm now offering one-on-one spiritual alignment calls, 60-minute sessions, to help you realign and find clarity. Message me on my Instagram at HumbleAli2times to book your spot. Alright, y'all, man. It's your boy HumbleAli2times. Feel me? Back in the video, man. Feel me? Follow the Instagram at HumbleAli2times. Now, look, yesterday's time we're talking about sometimes you have to be cruel to be kind. Now look, for up today's video, I want to give a huge shout out to the Most High in general for everything. I'm also giving a huge shout out to myself as well for wanting to receive this good information and give out this good information as well. I'm also giving a huge shout out to everyone and to y'all. I love y'all so much more and I love always deeply. I'm also sending good positive energy, good positive protection, good positive healing, and good positive energy towards everyone always deeply. Also, if you want to buy my ebook, you can. It is $10.90. Link is going to be in the description and in the comments. And let's go ahead and get more deep into the video. Sometimes you have to be cruel to be kind, right? That quote really stuck with me. I was watching a movie last night, and it stuck with me when I heard that line. And I didn't quite grasp it at first. I didn't quite really got what it meant, but my higher self knew that I needed to tap into this quote, understand this quote a lot better, right? Because it has some type of meaning to myself. So still haven't even done a whole lot of tapping into it, maybe so, but I have done some type of tapping in / research. And basically sometimes you have to be cruel to be kind. What does this mean? Well, this can mean all different sorts of things. This can mean all different sorts of topics, ideas, energies, etc. Right? But sometimes you have to be cruel to be kind. What this means is that sometimes you got to do the cold thing. Sometimes you got to do the bold thing to be kind. What does this mean? Sometimes being kind means, looking arrogant to others. Sometimes being kind means, not being very friendly or being a people pleaser, right? Or being cold, right? And it's not necessarily being cold. It can be, but a lot of times it's not that people are being cold. It's more so they're protecting their energy, right? Everybody's energy works differently. And that's something that I'm still understanding and still in the process of learning and understanding more about, right? Because we can be, including myself, we can be very quick to, well, why did they do that? They're them, right? They have their own energy. They're their own person, right? So just because you would have reacted different doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to react the same way how you would react, right? Everybody reacts different. Everybody is different, right? So sometimes to be kind, sometimes you got to be, you know what I mean? And that's just the honest truth. Right? Sometimes you got to seem like a a-hole to a lot of people to protect your peace, to feel more at peace with self, right? Sometimes, sometimes the decisions that you make might feel others might feel upset. They might feel in confusion of why would they do that? But in reality, you're not trying to hurt anybody. You're trying to protect your peace. Right? You want to feel good. You want to be in good energies. Right? So, I know it can seem harsh. I know it may feel like this isn't what you want to do. But if it's something that you need to do, and it's going to, really help you in good positive ways, and I mean this in good positive ways, then you already know what you should do. Another thing is that with being kind, right? A lot of times we don't really get a lot of more information about kind, right? A lot of times when we hear kind, we think about, helping an elder woman, with the groceries, because, she's not as tall, so it's much harder for her to reach the canned goods or whatever, right? Which that is a form of being kind, but a lot of times we are being kind to others. A lot of times we aren't being kind to ourselves. Sometimes being kind to yourself means I gotta protect my energy. I can't be around you. Even though I can, but I'm not. Because I need to do what's best for me. Right? All you want to do is gossip and play and joke all day. It's cool to joke at times. But all the time, what are we learning? What are we doing? How are we growing? How are we increasing? All right? Nothing wrong with a good laugh. But sometimes it's no need for a laugh. Sometimes it is like, you know what I'm saying? Okay, cool. This is a good time to, you know, laugh, be goofy, silly, playful. But then sometimes it's time to, you know, let me buckle up. We can get back to the goofy and the playfulness, but right now let me buckle up. Let me do what I know. Let me do what I know I need to do in this moment, at this moment right now. And you know, and sometimes being kind can hurt, right? Especially when you're being kind to yourself. But sometimes being kind to yourself can make other people feel like you're being mean and disrespectful to others, right? But in reality, you're just trying to make yourself feel good, right? A lot of times we don't get why this person always picking on people? Because they're trying to make themselves feel good. They don't really know any better. I'm not trying to, like, you know, take their side. I'm not taking their side, but it's the truth. They don't know any better. Well, yeah, Ollie, they do know better. They do know better, but at the same time, bro, they don't know better. You know why? Because if they truly knew better, they wouldn't be doing it. A lot of times, a lot of parents would be like, you know better. Yeah, they know better, but deep down inside, they really don't know better. Because if they truly knew better, they wouldn't be doing it. Right? A lot of people know not to pick on one another, but we still pick on one another. It's the difference between really knowing and really actually not knowing. Right? And, you know, kindness, it's more than just looking out for others. It's also about looking out for yourself, etc. Whatever you're thinking in your head about this person or about these groups of people, they're thinking something differently. It might be the same, but it's also different. I'm going to repeat that. Two people can be thinking the same thing, but it's still going to always be different too, even if it is the same, because everybody's energy is different. The thing is, bros, is that sometimes being kind doesn't always feel the best, doesn't always feel the great thing to do or the best move to do. It may not feel like it, right? You see what I'm saying? I'll use myself as an example. This whole so-called 2025, for the most part, I've been in a lot of isolation. I mean, like, a lot of isolation. Now, of course, that's by choice. Of course, I can, you know, do this and do that. Like, you know, like the universe gave myself a lot of different gifts. So, you know, I can do this. We all have multiple different gifts. There's a lot of different things I can do, but I chose to be in isolation. And not just that, I was meant to experience certain things in my life, and these are one of the things that I'm meant to experience is isolation. Right? It's a lot of things in my life that aren't really how they used to be. Right? This year I went through a lot of isolation, a lot of being alone, rather if I wanted to or not. But I reminded myself that the universe knows what it's doing. I know what I'm doing. Even sometimes when I don't know what I'm doing, you still know what you're doing. Somewhat. Right? You are God. You are your higher self. And your higher self is you. Right? And, you know, I had to protect my energy. So because of that, I had to cut a lot of people off. I mean, a good amount, like a really good amount. Right? And, you know, but that's me being kind. That's an example of myself. That's an example of me being kind to myself. Because once I did that, I started to feel better. I was already feeling good about myself. I started to feel even better. I started to feel less drained. Of course, there was multiple times where, I wanted to be around certain people, this and that. Right? But the thing is, bro, when the universe calls you, the universe calls you. Simple and plain as that. When the universe calls you, it calls you. Excuse me. And in other words, when you're meant to experience something, you're going to experience it if you're meant to experience it. That's just the honest truth. And kindness is what you make it. Never feel bad for doing what's best for you. And I really mean that. Whoever I'm talking to, I really mean that. No matter what, always do what's best for you. Because that's one of the best decisions we can all make in life. Right? Before I end this video, today is so-called Thanksgiving. Now, if you've been watching me for quite some time, you already know. I don't even have to go in depth about Thanksgiving. I already decoded Thanksgiving yesterday somewhat. I've made more than one video talking about Thanksgiving and holidays. You can literally just go through my channel and just see videos of me decoding stuff. But today's Thanksgiving. I decided I wasn't gonna do anything for Thanksgiving because one, I don't celebrate holidays, and then two, I'm Indian. So that's my people that got transcended, your people that got transcended, etc. Even if you're not Indian, you're still black. You're still a goddess, you're still a god, it's still your people, regardless. And the original Indians are black, by the way. Yes. We're so-called black, right? And, it's a lot of people, I could have, hanged out or whatever during so-called Thanksgiving, but I chose not to. Because I know that's not for me. I know that's not meant for me. And I also don't want to do that as well. And I say that with respect. I mean no disrespect, but it's the honest truth. When you start to realize more and more of your path, things start to get clear. But as they start to get clear, some things may start to erase. Look, man, I love y'all, man. There's so much more to love, always deeply. And I'll catch y'all from Mother on the next one, man. Peace.